Hello, everybody, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Jurassic films and my ranking of the Jurassic films. Um, so this will be in order, and I am at the very end. I'm going to be doing a YouTuber spotlight at the very end of this video. It is going to be something that I am going to do for all of these videos until I mean, it's pretty hard to run out, but if I can't find any, then, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But, uh, whatever. Um, so, but we're gonna do that at the very end. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. So, my ranking of the Jurassic films. Number one is obviously Jurassic Park. Now, who didn't expect for it to be Jurassic Park? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Um, Jurassic Park is most definitely the best out of all of them. However, one could argue that Lost World was better, and I will say, I have been there. With the Lost World, um, but actually, I'll just go into that at number two. But um, the first time that I ever watched Jurassic Park was when I was like, how old was I? Like 6. The first time that I figured out about it, was when I think that maybe like the night before or something. My mom, or somehow, the DVD that we had of it, because we had the DVD of it, like whenever it first came out, on DVD. Um, where it was like the like artwork was like shiny, like that one, with the T Rex about to bite the logo. That's the one that we had, and I still have that to this very day. That copy of it. I'm really glad that I did. It's not the same case though, because the case that ever since that moment that I saw that case, um, yeah, I just it was really busted, and it remained that way, intact, the same exact way, for how many years. And it wouldn't hold the disc in it, so sometimes it would like slide out of that crack. Um, but I took it out and put it back up there. But the first time that I ever saw that, laying on our old box television, if you don't know what that is, you should look it up. A box TV. Yeah, they were a thing. Little boxes with the screen. Yeah, trust me on that. It was a thing. Um, Kind of odd how I had one, and like the, not even like the early 2000s. It was like maybe, yeah, it was like the early. It was like the early, or mid. It was like it was probably about like the middle, or the early 2010s. Um, so we think that we had access to some bigger TVs. Actually, we did have a big TV. I think. I don't know. Why am I talking about this? But yeah, Jurassic Park. It left like an emotional scar on me. Not like in a bad way, but in like a good way, like a very, very good way. The first time I ever saw that, I could not stop singing John Williams' score. And like every day, I was like, Mom, can we watch that movie again with the dinosaurs? She usually said no because I think she got a little tired of me singing that. Well, for the most part, she didn't. I'm amazed at how my mom let me watch that movie. Like most people that like most little kids that tried to watch Jurassic Park, their parents said no because it was apparently too scary. Nowadays, like any kid can watch that movie. It's not that scary. But trust me, that movie used to be a freaking horror movie. It was great. um, but the first time I watched it, I was just like, that's so cool. And I remember, it was like after I went into that huge phase, like of watching that stuff. It was like I think that I didn't really forget about it. Like I still knew about it, but it just been like some time since I watched it. And I was up late, probably like a weekend, in the other another house that we moved into. Um, or it might have been the same house actually, but I was watching my TV in my bedroom, and I was on like Nick at Night, and they were playing Jurassic Park, and I remember it was at like the very end of the movie, but I watched like that part where the Velociraptor poked its head through that ceiling grate, and Lex got swung up into the air. I remember watching that and just being like, "Ah, I totally need to watch that again." And yeah, oh, yeah, it was such a good experience. I just, man, like I'm so sad that it's ending, but like the first time seeing that T Rex, it was like, oh my god, it's a real T Rex. And I love dinosaurs. I had tons of dinosaur toys. I had a freaking screeching Pachycephalosaurus that I think that I might have talked about in the Carnotaurus review. I'm not too sure. Can't remember. But I I had like the screeching Pachycephalosaurus. I had this Dilophosaurus, which I did put out. I did put it out. I think I still need to edit it, but I put it out. And I found it at this. I found one at the store. I don't think that I have the original one. But yeah. Sorry, just making sure that that's going. But yeah. So man, but yeah. So that's Jurassic Park for you. It's just like it was such a great experience, and I didn't actually know that it was coming out in 3D. And because if I knew that, I would have gone to see that movie in 3D like 50 times. I loved it. I wish I did. I really wish I did. That would have been super awesome. But yeah. um, but like, I wish that I could have been like born in that time of age. Like, it would have been so cool. Like, for me to have like known about that, and like just sit there or been there. Cause trust me, if I saw that movie one time in theaters, I would have seen it like 50 bajillion more times. Let's be honest. But yeah, so that's gonna have to do it for Jurassic Park. Quick little review. Not really 7 minutes, but whatever. Or 6 minutes. But let's move on to number two, The Lost World. Now, for I mean, it was a pretty big time. I mean, it wasn't the biggest time, but for a pretty strong period of time, um, I was The Lost World was actually my favorite film in the franchise. Like every time that my grandma was like, "Hey, Jurassic Park 2's on in the Jurassic Park 2's on in the on the TV," I was like, "Heck yeah!" And I went to watch it. It was so cool. I love that part where the Robert Burke character, his or no, it wasn't Robert Burke. Well, I think that was his name in the movie, Robert Burke, but I think I can't remember, but David Backer's character. Now, it wasn't actually played by he wasn't actually played by David Backer, but he was inspired. The character was inspired by David Backer, and I remember whenever the T Rex grabbed his arm because he was afraid of a little corn snake. The T Rex grabbed his arm, and then the water got the red blood fall, the blood waterfall. I thought that was so cool. I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome! There's a blood waterfall! Yeah!" Oh my god, I'm so happy that I was able to watch those movies whenever I was little. uh, I miss I miss being a little kid like that and just watching those. I still act like a little kid most of the time. Yeah, but this movie is freaking awesome. Oh yeah, I actually no, I did say this is number two. This is definitely number two on my list. Because you can't. I mean, you can't put I can't put The Lost World over Jurassic Park. That's my opinion. But this is all just my opinion. People have completely different opinions. You never know. I mean, this could be like the complete opposite way. You never know, really. Um, However, um, one could argue that this was the better one. I can't though. I just have to give it to Jurassic Park. But you could say that. You could say that. Um, and I still think that uh, Jurassic Park score is better than the Lost World score. But people think that it's Lost World's better, and I could see that. That was a really good score too. But I just can't put it over Jurassic Park score. Um, but anyway, um, yeah. So let's let's go on to number three, which might actually be quite a surprise to you. Um, which might actually be quite a surprise to you. I'm sure that this is definitely a big opinion of mine, and most people find this film pretty badly. Sadly, I actually really enjoyed it, and that is number three, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Now, no, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is number three on my list because I actually really enjoyed it. Most people thought that it was just a bad movie, but you know, um, I thought that it was a good movie. Now, the main problems that I had with it were like the jokes, obviously. Um, but that title, Fallen Kingdom, definitely did have some deeper meaning. Clay Variety made a video on that in his spoiler review of A Fallen Kingdom, which isn't really a spoiler review anymore because it's out on Blu-ray and everything. But actually, link will be in the description for that. And I will also put in the link the actually no, I'm not talking about that right now. But his video and his channel will be in the link in the description below. But um, that is not going to be our spotlight for today, but it probably will be in the future. But I just enjoyed this. I loved the baryonyx. I loved the Indoraptor. The only problem that I had with the Indoraptor was that it was kind of like sometimes it was kind of dumb, to be honest. I mean, not like the character. I mean, like, well, actually, like the way that it acted like kind of dumb. Like Altiori, um, she said that the Indoraptor, whenever it was stalking Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and Maisie. I don't know the actor's name or the actress's name for Maisie. Um, but maybe tell me in the comments. I have no idea though. I'll probably Google it whenever this is over, anyways. But she said that it should have it like knew where they were. So like whenever it was it went up on its hind legs and it was like looking around, it could have been like it looked slowly down at like where they were, and then sort of like went the other way. That would have been so cool. Trust me, that would have been awesome. It would have made the movie so much more scarier. But let me tell you, that freaking scene with Ken Wheatley, his death scene, that was the best thing ever. I'll probably have to put in the things that I will dive into some spoilers. Um, but I just really like this. I really enjoyed it, and that's my opinion. You probably have a completely different opinion. You might think that this is the worst one, but I strongly hold with Clean Priority that this movie probably would get an A minus. Um, the main reasons why it wasn't the best film for me was Franklin. I mean, he was a good character, I feel, but he was just like the guy who made the jokes. He was the comedic relief. He was a comedic relief guy, and I don't really feel like this movie needed that. It didn't really. He could have been just like um, Arby from because they definitely base his character off of Arby, from the Lost World novel. And I actually really liked Arby. I always thought of him as like not really like black, like how they say he is. I mean, he's black, um, but I always thought of him as like more of like an African American. Well, African Americans are black. Um, Nothing to be offensive about. I'm just um, saying I always thought of him as like that, having that skin tone of Franklin, rather than that. I don't know. It's just like he said. Michael Crichton said that he was black, but I never really thought of him as that way. Um, but that's just my opinion. Um, but yeah. Um, so you know, I don't know. I just don't know. Oh wow, 15 minutes in already. Um, but yeah, so you know how it is. Um, um, but yeah, his character, he could have just been like serious. I mean, he could have like you could have kept the screaming in there, make him kind of funny at some points, but you don't need to make him like just like trying to make jokes every single second. And that 40 minutes that they cut, if they left that in, I feel like that it would have made the movie a lot better because it would have been longer, um, and it would have made the movie less fast paced. And I feel like that's kind of where Jurassic Park 3 failed, was how fast paced it was and how short it was. Now, that 40 minutes would have made this movie a lot better because of how longer it was, and that would have made it feel less fast paced. And it also would have given us more interactive stuff. However, I do see why they cut out the iris death. I will be making a video on that actually, but I do see why they cut out the iris death, so they could bring her back in Jurassic World 3. It hasn't been confirmed, but they're definitely going to bring her back in Jurassic World 3 if they decided not to kill her off. But yeah, so yeah. Well, let's go on to number 4 then, shall we? But yeah, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I thought it was really good, except for few parts. And I kind of went with Rick Raptor on this one, with Baryonyx like jumping and getting hit by lava. That should have definitely fried its face off. I feel like I wish that it was more like it tried, like before it bit at them, it tried to like avoid the lava. Um, like it sort of like cocked back after it noticed that lava dripped in front of it, like something like that. It's still trying to get them through the lava, but that would have made that sequence a lot more, maybe possibly realistic. And Franklin like messing up all the time. It's just, yeah, I don't really like that. But let's move on to number 4. Now, number 4 is Jurassic World. Now, I'm actually really mad at how low Jurassic World is on my list, because I remember watching Jurassic World in theaters. Whenever I went to see Jurassic World, it was actually the day after its a domestic release. Um, and I mean, it wasn't that bad because I didn't really have to worry about spoilers at all. Because it was the day after. The reason that I went to see it the day after was because we did it on my grandma's birthday. She decided to go and see it for me, and I'm really really happy that she took me to go see that movie. Because if she didn't, then I don't know. But I remember just like watching that ending scene with the T-Rex at the very end, and just like watching it, go up that helipad, and like walking up onto it, and just like it roaring over Jurassic World. It was just like such a surreal experience. It was like wow. And I gotta lie, whenever I heard about the Jurassic World 2 rumors, I didn't actually believe them. I remember Jurassic Collectibles making tons of theories on Jurassic World 2. And I was like, I don't think that that's gonna happen. Obviously it did. And now they're making a third one. And they're even making a third one. Um, but yeah. Um, a great way to learn about Jurassic World's history is to watch Terradome 3000. Or well, it's not Jack Anthony Ewan's like on his Jack Anthony Ewan's actual channel. It's on Terradome 3000's channel, but Jack Anthony Ewan's he sort of made like this documentary on like what the phases of Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 4, aka Jurassic World, went through eventually to its domestic release. Um, from like where it began, way back in 2000, way back in like, 2000 something, like 2001 through 2004, all the way back from there to 2015, whenever it opened. And it's really cool at how he made that, and that link will definitely be in the description below. It's a very cool video, and it really does give you some info on how this movie came to be, and it's just so beautiful. However, um, people have been, people have. I think that it was Jurassic Collectibles. I can't remember. I think it actually no. I think it was a Gaming Beaver. He stated that Jurassic World, like, it had like this blue tint on it, and you can really tell that in Jurassic World, like looking at Fallen Kingdom and then Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, you can definitely tell there's like this blue hues to it, and it makes it look kind of weird. Um, I mean, it's just kind of odd how it is. But I remember watching the first trailer for it, because like I had no idea that this movie was coming out. I had no idea. Um, and I remember watching the first trailer, and I saw that Chris Pratt was in it, and I was like, oh my god, Chris Pratt's in this! I actually really liked Chris Pratt around that time, because I loved watching him. I loved listening to his voice in the Lego Movie. I love that movie too. The Lego Movie. It was a really good movie. Can't wait for the second one. But I remember looking at that Chris Pratt was going to be in it. I was like, what? Chris Pratt's in this? I remember watching that part in the trailer where like the Mosasaurus comes out of that water, or goes out of the water, and it was either it ate the, I think it was that the Mosasaur ate the Pteranodon, and Pteranodon. Like, just watching that, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be such a good movie. And I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for this. And my grandmother was generous enough to take me for her birthday, to see it in the IMAX too, which was awesome. And yeah, but it was so cool, and it was so cool watching it in IMAX. It was just like I was like right in front of the screen. Like, we had to go up a few seats. I don't remember if there was like like reserved seating, but there probably was, actually. It was Jurassic World, but you know, but yeah, Jurassic World was such a surreal experience. I remember, I was actually really scared of that movie the first couple of times that I watched it. Like, I really got scared of the raptor sequences in it, and I feel like it really did well with like scaring me when I was little. And that must have been like what that fear must have been like what kids felt whenever they went to see Jurassic Park in back in the 90s. I probably felt the same. That's gonna be like something that's gonna be talked about, like how kids got scared of a Jurassic World whenever it came out. The kids got scared of Jurassic Park whenever it came out. Um, and the first time that I watched Fallen Kingdom, I actually did get like kind of scared at some points because it was in the IMAX and that volume was blasted. Like freaking the first time that I watched it with like the Michael Giacchino's score of "This Title Makes Me Feel Jurassic," like it was so loud, and we were again right in front of the screen, and yeah. But Jurassic World is super awesome. I'm really mad at that it's at number 4 and it's so low on the list, but I can't put it over Fallen Kingdom. I actually did enjoy Fallen Kingdom more than it. However, I feel like they do come pretty close to tying though. But number 5 is quite obviously what most people were expecting, which is JP3. Yeah. There were a couple of, what's sadder is that this was, for quite some time actually, like a pretty long period of time, my favorite JP movie. And actually, I think that I watched this and had no idea about the first movie. I was like, why is it called JP Jurassic Park 3? What are the other two? And I don't think I ever figured it out. My grandma might have told me, because my grandma was the person that showed me this when I was a little baby too. But this is the one that sadly introduced me to the franchise. Um, Now, truth be told, I don't hate this movie. I don't hate it at all. This is so much better. This is miles above other movies that I've seen. Um, you know, there's some really terrible movies um, that I have seen, and this is miles above those. But this isn't a bad movie. This is not a bad movie. It's just that considering the other Jurassic Park movies, this is totally, definitely the worst one. No, definitely. Um, it's just, there were some sequences that I really liked about it, like that pteranodon scene. I thought that was super cool, and I still actually really like it to this day. It was a really cool scene, and it did actually really. I love the designs of most of the dinosaurs in this film too. It's just that it's what ruins it is that the Clan Variety. I'm talking about this too. Is that like how Alan Grant's character changed way too drastically, way too drastically, um, where it was like in Jurassic Park where we left off, they were just normal animals. In Jurassic Park 3, oh, there's our genetically created monsters, theme park monsters. God. But it was yeah. But and it's way too fast paced. Now Fallen Kingdom I feel like does a better job with the fast paced rather than Jurassic Park 3. I feel like Jurassic Park 3 it just goes by way too fast. Um it's just way too quick with how it does it. And I think that I'm gonna push this video to 40 minutes, maybe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, but that I love the designs of the quilled raptors, and I actually have I actually have names for the two lead raptors of that pack. The female is Rose, and the male that tends for the female is I'm thinking about calling him Jack. I'm not too sure though, but I think that I'm gonna call him Jack. Yeah, the reborn names. Um, but I feel like Rose really fits with that raptor. It really does fit with her. Um, and the Spinosaurus, it's just like it looks so cool, and they could have used this so good. It could have been such a good movie. It had so much potential with that pteranodon scene and the pteranodon sequence and the Spinosaurus and the raptors. It could have had so much potential. And pretty much I think that all of the dinosaurs except for the Spinosaurus has a circular pupil. Um, oh yeah, and the quilled velociraptor that Alan Grant's never seen before. That talks to him in his dream. Alan, he's never seen any of those raptors before. He's just got psychokinetic powers, huh? Yeah, that was pretty dumb. That was a pretty dumb move. Um, but those raptors were super freaking scary. Let me tell you about that. They were actually pretty scary. Not gonna lie. Um, but yeah. But after the years, since I've grown, I've watched this movie, um, and it's just like it's just it deteriorated quite much. And it's not because I was influenced by it's not because I was influenced by people on the internet talking about how crap this was. It was just my basic opinion. I grew up. I got older, and I started noticing like this movie is pretty crap. Definitely not as good as I used to think. And yeah, it's definitely not as good as I remember it. Remember it. And but still, in retrospect, it's not a bad movie overall. Um, but it's much much better than some other movies that I've seen in the past. And yeah. Um, but yeah. So we are not done yet though. Um, we are quickly going to talk about a little bit of Jurassic World 3. Um, these arms look super stupid though. I don't know why they look that way. But they do. Uh, I mean, this is just obviously like a stock image, and then um, they put the date for its release, and its domestic release, um, which is um, ironically the same exact day that Jurassic Park came out. So it started on June 11th and it's ending on June 11th. I think that's really nice. It's like it's gonna be on one of Jurassic Park's anniversaries. I believe that it's going to be on the 28th anniversary of it. So just 2 years more, and it's gonna be the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. Um, and that's gonna be a really big milestone, like 30 years. Like, that's a lot of time. That's like a long time. Um, but what do I? What are my hopes for it? I'm hoping that it's gonna be better than Fallen Kingdom, or I'm hoping that my hopes for it, or my not my well, obviously I want it to be better than the last movie. I want it to be the best one, because it's gonna be the last one. Um, I want it to exceed my expectations, and I'm hoping that I can get that. But we can't get everything. Um, my hopes, or my my hopes and dreams. Um, my what is it? What's it called? My expectations for it. I'm expecting it to be good, because this is reportedly going to be the last one. However, that's probably not going to be true. Probably in the next there might not even be 10 years. They're gonna make another sequel or another trilogy for it. But if this truly is the last movie that we're ever gonna get of a Jurassic Park movie, then I want it to be really good. I want it to really, truly be a finisher for this franchise. Um, and it's basically what this movie's gonna be is you remember that part in the Lost World where the T Rex goes into San Diego? It's basically gonna be like that, but stretched into like 2 hours. um, like that sounds freaking awesome. Not gonna lie, that sounds freaking awesome. But yeah, my expectations for it are pretty high. I think I'm really gonna like this movie. Um, and